You need to comply with HOA regulations immediately. These two HOA cops stopped me and tried to detain me. Why? Because I supposedly violated an HOA access rule that didn't exist. They boxed my vehicle in beside the water like it was a felony stop. One SUV in front, one behind. Doors open fast. Authority first. Questions never. One of them had a baton out already. The other kept his hand close to his holster like he was hoping today would turn exciting. I shut the engine off. Then I stepped out, slow, calm, exactly how you're supposed to. I turned slightly away from them and placed my hands behind my back, palms together, one hand wrapped firmly around the grip of my concealed sidearm, hidden clean behind my body where they couldn't see it. Not threatening, not brandishing, just prepared. They didn't notice. The baton guy raised a hand and shouted, "Stay right there. You're being detained for HOA code violations." I looked at him. HOAs don't conduct traffic stops. The armed one scoffed. "You violated restricted access. We have authority to detain and search your vehicle." "No, you don't," I said calmly. HOAs don't have police powers, and you definitely don't have the right to search my car. That's when their tone changed. "This isn't a request," the baton guy snapped, stepping closer. "Hands where we can see them." I kept my hands exactly where they were, behind my back, not moving, not shaking, just waiting. They thought they'd stopped another homeowner who'd get scared and comply. They had no idea who they stopped, and in a few minutes, they were going to understand how badly they miscalculated. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. Because to understand why two fake HOA cops felt bold enough to ambush me during a routine stop, you need the backstory. My name is Daniel Cross. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I moved into this neighborhood quietly, paid my dues, followed the law. I don't argue with HOAs. I document them. That's what made Marissa Cole, the HOA president, hate me. She loved control, invented rules, selective enforcement, made people comply through fear instead of legality. Most neighbors folded. I didn't. I asked for documentation. I cited state statutes. I refused to play along. So she escalated. First letters, then warnings, then HOA enforcement patrols. And now, two men pretending to be cops, trying to turn a neighborhood road into their personal jurisdiction. The armed one shifted his stance. His hand crept closer to his gun. The baton tightened in the other man's grip. Neither of them noticed my breathing slow. Neither of them saw the tension leave my shoulders, because they didn't know they'd stopped the wrong homeowner. And they had no idea what was about to happen next. The warning didn't land. I could see it in their faces. That mix of ego and impatience. They weren't here to resolve anything. They were here to dominate. Turn around. The baton guy barked. Hands behind your back. You're being detained under HOA authority. I didn't move. I'm not resisting, I said calmly. But you don't have authority to detain me. Step back and leave. The armed one shifted his feet. His jaw tightened. His hand came off his holster. That was the point of no return. He drew his gun halfway and pointed it at my chest like it was second nature. Except it wasn't. His grip was wrong. Elbow flared, finger already inside the trigger guard. On your knees, he shouted. The baton guy rushed at the same time, trying to close distance and force compliance before anyone could think too hard. Everything compressed into seconds. The baton swung first, catching my ribs hard enough to knock the air out of me. Pain flared white, but it also cleared my head. The armed one fired. The shot tore through my upper arm, burning hot, spinning me sideways. Blood sprayed instantly. Not fatal, but real. I didn't fall. I moved. I stepped offline and brought my hand free from behind my back, drawing in one smooth motion. The armed HOA cop froze for half a heartbeat when he realized he wasn't the only one with a gun. I fired once. Lo! The round slammed into his leg, and he dropped screaming, the gun skidding across the pavement as he collapsed beside the water. The Baton guy lunged again, panic replacing confidence. He swung wildly, no form left. I tried to backpedal, but the injury slowed me. The Baton caught my shoulder this time, sending me to one knee. I brought the pistol up and shouted, "Drop it!" He didn't. I fired again, controlled, and he went down hard, clutching his leg, the Baton clattering away as he screamed. Silence hit like a wall. Both of them were down. Both of them alive. Both of them suddenly very aware of how badly they'd screwed up. I stayed where I was, breathing through the pain, keeping the gun trained until I was sure neither could move. Blood soaked my sleeve. My arm throbbed, but my head was clear. I kicked their weapons out of reach and stepped back. "You had no authority," I said flatly. "None." The armed one sobbed, pressing his leg. "We were just enforcing HOA rules." "No," I said, "you were impersonating law enforcement and trying to detain me at gunpoint." I pulled my phone out with my good hand and dialed. 911, I said calmly. Two armed men impersonating officers attempted an unlawful detention. Shots fired in self-defense. I've been hit. Suspects are down. Send police and medical. I ended the call and kept my eyes on them as sirens started to echo in the distance. They finally understood. They hadn't stopped a homeowner, they'd stopped the wrong man. If you're enjoying this HOA story so far, like and subscribe, because the story is only going to get better. The sirens reached us fast. Real patrol cars, real deputies, real authority. They came in hard, weapons drawn, voices sharp and controlled. They took in the scene in seconds. Two men bleeding on the ground, an abandoned SUV blocking the road, weapons scattered, and me standing off to the side with my injured arm pressed tight against my chest. "Drop the weapon," one deputy shouted. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I set my pistol down slowly and stepped back, hands open. "I'm the caller," I said. I was shot. I returned fire in self-defense. They moved on the two HOA imposters first. Tourniquets, handcuffs, radios lighting up with rapid-fire updates. One of them screamed about his leg. The other wouldn't stop shaking, repeating the same sentence over and over. We were just enforcing HOA rules. A deputy turned to him coldly. "HOAs don't have guns." An EMT wrapped my arm while another officer took my statement. I told them everything. The stop, the fake authority, the attempted detention, the gun, the baton, the first shot fired at me. When they asked who I was, I handed over my ID. U.S. Army. Honorable discharge. The tone changed instantly. Not admiration, just understanding. They pulled the dash cam footage from my vehicle, body cam from a nearby jogger who'd been recording, phone records from the HOA SUVs. Within hours, the story was airtight. By morning, the charges against me were formally declined. Self-defense. Clear, justified. The two fake HOA cops weren't so lucky. They were charged with impersonating law enforcement, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, false imprisonment, conspiracy, illegal use of firearms, and attempted kidnapping under color of authority. One of them, the armed one, would never walk normally again. He took a plea deal and received 14 years in state prison. The baton carrier got 11 years. But the investigation didn't stop with them, because once detectives started pulling HOA records, everything unraveled. Marissa Cole, emails ordering enforcement patrols, texts demanding compliance by intimidation, draft HOA codes that were never voted on, never approved, never legal, payment records tied directly to the two men she'd sent after me. She didn't confess. She didn't need to. The paper trail buried her. Marissa was arrested for conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, directing armed impersonation, abuse of authority, fraud, witness intimidation, and orchestrating unlawful detentions. She was sentenced to 22 years in state prison and ordered to pay full restitution. Medical bills, legal fees, and civil damages totaling over $480,000. The HOA collapsed within weeks. Board members resigned. Rules were voided. Residents sued. The association was dissolved by court order. The neighborhood went quiet after that. No patrols, no letters, no fake authority. Just a road by the water, the same place they tried to stop me. And every time I drive past it now, I remember one simple truth. Some people think authority comes from uniforms and rules they invent. But real authority, it shows up when someone refuses to be bullied and makes the bullies answer for it. The end.